Well, if you're not aware, there is a significant tax incentive that is set to expire in 2025 that has parents rushing to transfer their assets to their children. It's called the Great Wealth Transfer and projects that $84 trillion is poised to move from older Americans to Gen Xers and millennials. Being on the receiving end of that transfer may sound wonderful, but not without impact. To understand the effect of this Great Wealth Transfer, CEO at Decisions Financial Services, Monika Hengesbach. Did I say that right? I get it right?
Yes, you did.
Okay, that's what matters because it's the name on the check that clears, and that's what's important. So, speaking of money, first for parents, let's talk about this Great Wealth Transfer. What does this mean for their money? Those who are being their funds are being transferred to younger generations.
So really what this means is that they really need to start thinking about what is happening to the tax law. Currently, right now, there is an estate exemption of approximately $13.61 million, which means $13 million, almost $14 million of their estate will be non-taxable. That is set to sundown in 2026 to $7 million. So what they need to start preparing, because estate taxes at the highest is taxed at 40%. So what they want to start doing is they want to start planning in regards to their estate, start moving things, assets out of their estate now down to the beneficiaries so their estate won't be subject to income tax.
And then I guess now moving on to the kids or to the recipients of this Great Wealth Transfer. I know I hear that. I'm a millennial. I go, yes, but that doesn't come without some hurdles and some things to deal with and consider too. So as far as it sounds like there's a privilege to it, but there is, again, some things that those generations have to prepare for as well to receive this type of transfer.
Yeah, there's quite a bit that needs to be prepared. I think one of them is now when the parents are alive is to start having what I put in air quotes, an estate plan. But basically that's communication with the beneficiaries, their children, about what money is in the accounts, what assets are going to be transferred, passwords, logins. I mean, I can tell you many times in my practice, spouses have come in asking me for the passwords, and I'm thinking, you got the wrong person. I have no idea what that is. But I think you need to start educating your beneficiaries. Have them meet with a financial planner now, your financial planner. Understand the wealth that is eventually going to be theirs and how they can efficiently manage that wealth. I mean, you hear horror stories. Kids get all of a sudden all this money and boom, Rolexes are bought and Rolls Royces. Well, it's not going to sustain them in society. So what they need to do is start to learn more about the money that they're going to get. Who are the powers to be that are going to help them manage it? And they want to be able to grow that money once they receive it.
All right, Monika, tell me if I'm hearing you right about this. So it's not even just, it's having an open conversation and dialogue with those future generations. And honestly, when we have to talk about that, it's around a subject which is not always so pleasant for us, but it's necessary to have these conversations. And in having those conversations, you will empower future generations to make better decisions because, I wouldn't turn down an inheritance. If someone said, hey, you have an inheritance coming, I'd say, oh, come on, because I was looking at that Gucci bag. But you were saying that is why you need to have those conversations because you can come up with a generational plan as you're passing these assets down to what it really means, how important it is, and how you can actually benefit yourself in the long run versus just not having that conversation and then all of a sudden get a large lump sum of money because any person would probably go maybe a little buck wild when they get that. But having those conversations kind of could curb that happening.
Yes. I mean, I'm currently, trust me, nowhere is my wealth 13.6 million. But I am having conversations with my daughter now. She doesn't want to listen to it. So basically what I said is in this little box, if I'm no longer here, you're going to go to this little box. And in this little box is going to have this information. But I'm slowly educating her on what my plans are for her as I start to age. And so she's becoming more educated on that as to what will transfer over to her. I mentioned my financial planner. I tell her the telephone number's in this little box. Just when I'm gone, you need to go to that box, because kids don't want to hear that their parents may go. And knowing my daughter, she's just like you. That Gucci handbag would be the first thing in her cart. So no, I cannot have that happen. No.
Yeah, so say, where someone's watching it and they do end up with a large inheritance as part of this transfer. What are your top tips to, engaging with that new wealth, or that maybe that rush of wealth that's going to be coming in?
So the first thing I would do is don't touch anything at this point, because everything, well, I shouldn't say everything. There are tax consequences to the things that you're going to withdraw. So if you're inheriting real estate, then that's fantastic. There's something called a stepped up basis. You could potentially sell that and pay no capital gains. If you're inheriting stock as an asset, you want to see what part of that stock has a history of generating income and growing, because maybe you want to hold on to that for additional wealth. Maybe these rental properties, your parents have paid it off, and therefore you want to keep that as additional income. So my top recommendation is not do anything, is to evaluate what the assets are and meet with the powers to be, meet with a financial planner, meet with an estate attorney, meet with your parents' tax preparer to get a better understanding of what's transferring over. Because then they'll help educate you whether you pay off your debts, whether you pay off your own home mortgage, what you need to live off of as you begin to think about retiring, because we are having a retirement crisis as well going on right now. So you really just need to slow down and start meeting and being educated by the financial experts that will have your best interest in mind.
Well, they say the first generation makes it, the second generation spends it, and third generation blows it. Here's to hoping that this transfer of wealth is received and managed well by this generation. Thank you so much for taking the time, Monika, and for the tips that you have